I'm Todd with the Whiskey Sippers, and I've got that bourbon guy, Paul, with me.
Hey there.
And today we are going to go over our May bottle haul.
Stay tuned.
All right, we're back, and thanks everybody for watching and tuning in. If you haven't already, go down, hit that subscribe and like button. And we're going to get to it. We had a pretty epic bottle haul. I think both of us did.
Huge.
Yeah, and together it's going to be pretty big. So sit back because this may take a while.
I know.
It was a pretty busy May.
Well, let me start off with a quick win. That was a start off for the month for me.
All right.
So, you know, I do more than just hunting around at the stores and stuff like that. I do play some online.
You like the duck races.
Duck races
You love
and
the
stuff
duck
like that.
races,
So
yeah.
I started off with a win. Jack Daniel's, 12-year-old, batch 3.
Nice. So this year's batch 12 or batch 3,
Mm-hmm.
Jack 12.
Yep.
I have had it. It's pretty good.
It is good.
Now, I still think batch 1 of the Jack Daniel's 12 is my favorite 12 year so far from them, but this one's pretty good.
All right.
Is that the only duck race one you had? Or?
Well, I'll get to another one later.
Okay.
I'll finish that one up.
All right. So starting out this or last month,
Mm-hmm.
we did several trips. We were down in Indiana. We were down in Kentucky. We did a barrel pick, and we made another trip down because we went down to Jack Daniel's. So while we're traveling, we do a lot of hunting. And that's where whenever I go those trips, I tend to have bigger hauls.
I do the same thing.
All the time. So we started out on our first trip down, beginning of the month. We were headed down to Hard Truth, and we stopped at a liquor store called One Stop,
Okay.
which is in Newport. And we managed to acquire a couple of bottles there that were a little different.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
So the first thing, my wife loves these. Whenever we find them at like a decent price, she always gets them.
Oh, the baby.
The little baby blends.
That's cool.
Right. So if we
I
can
have one
find
of
them,
those. That is fun.
if you get them for like $15 or less, we find them like
That's
that. We
good
grab
value.
them.
That's well priced.
So we got a couple of those, and they also had the 375.
Oh, nice.
So we grabbed that one too, which is maybe it was only about $10 over MSRP. So
Good.
yeah,
That's
so
real
we
good.
we snatched that up.
Awesome.
Now, also, they had some special packages. A lot of stores down in Kentucky do. You have to buy bundles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a bundle that caught my eye that I managed to pick up.
All right.
It was their Starlight store pick,
Mm-hmm.
which was just part of the bundle. You had to buy the store pick to get the bottle.
Right.
And it came in the bundle with the handle
Wow.
of Eagle Rare. I always love to get that big giant bottle of Eagle Rare where we can find them.
That's cool.
So
that's cool. I've never seen one that big.
So we got the smallest size and the biggest size. So it was a strange trip to walk out of the store with one arm full of the giant bottle and the other with a little bag full of little stuff. So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So that was our first stop.
All
on
right.
the way.
So I was also doing trips during the month of April and everything else. And that started into basically it's my annual vacation where I eventually go down into the Smoky Mountains. But before I went down there, I spent 2 days in Louisville. And in doing so, the first stop I actually made was over at Jim Beam. And I was doing a barrel tasting experience.
Okay.
One single batch, 3 different barrels, all aged the same, but one stored high in the rick house, one in the middle of the rick house, one in the lower rick house. So you can experience the differences in aging and everything else. Afterwards, went back to the store, did some buying around, and I was able to pick up Baker's 13.
I just killed off the bottle I had of Baker's 13.
I like 13. That's really
now,
nice.
was this, do you know if it was last year's batch? 2024, right? It had to be the 24
It's the
batch.
24. They haven't released the 25 yet, but they still have plenty of them in the store. I also picked up Old Overholt, aged 11 years.
Okay.
And then finally, they're sitting on the back shelf with a little sign on it. It's a regular Jim Beam
White label
bourbon, but it's signed by Fred No.
Yeah, it's always nice. It's always fun to get their signatures. I got an old tub up there signed by Fred No.
I got a couple of myself. This is this was for a friend.
Okay. All right, so there you go. Fun trip to Jim Beam. So we continued our trip to Hard Truth to do the barrel pick, and on the way we stopped at a couple of stores in Indiana, and I found a bottle that I've actually been looking for that I hadn't found in Ohio or Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
It is the Barrel Foundation Double Barrel.
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, I had too. That's why I was like, I'm looking for one. I haven't seen them, but we stopped at that store in Indiana, and sure enough, it was there. So grabbed it. It was like $50, whatever the MSRP.
Perfect.
So, yep, absolutely picked one up. And then I met up with a friend, Brad. You're out there. You're probably watching this.
Okay.
There had been a drop of a store pick down in Kentucky that I had seen online. I asked him to go grab me one, and I picked it up, when we were on that trip because we saw him.
Gotcha.
And it was a Buffalo Trace store pick 375.
Oh, nice.
I did not have a store pick of a 375 Buffalo Trace, so that's why I wanted one.
Very cool.
And then at Hard Truth, after our barrel pick, and the barrel pick was fantastic.
I saw the video.
Yeah, and at the gift shop, I managed to pick up a Hard Truth single barrel double oak.
Ooh, nice.
And it is fantastic. You're going to have to try it.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Good.
So that's what we got, kind of like Indiana and at Hard Truth itself.
Awesome. Cool. So after I was done with Jim Beam, with your suggestions, I went over to Johnny O's, both stores, and was able to find quite a nice selection of bottles.
Yeah, they got a lot of good bottles. They got some nice bundles.
So they had some leftovers of the Old Forester 117 series. So they got the extra old as well as Warehouse High.
Okay, nice.
So those were available.
Of the 117s.
The 117s. I was able to pick up a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye.
Store pick?
It was a store pick at 136.7 proof.
Ooh, nice.
From 2024. I was also to find, this was a Good Times, which is MGP, but it's their cigar batch.
Okay.
And that's
a store pick as well.
Store pick from John O's.
And their store picks are fabulous. So.
Got that there. And two more. I was able to find this Hardin's Creek. So it's Jacob's Well 211, which means it's been aged 17 and a half years. And this is going to be a killer bottle.
The older Hardin Creeks are fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, they really are.
And then finally, I was able to find a short barrel.
Oh, nice.
This is a double oaked short barrel.
I see you popped that one.
I've cracked. This is good. So I'll have you try that as well.
We'll have to try that.
So that is what I was able to pick up at both locations for Johnny O's.
Yeah, so you did well at John O's. I love John O's, one of my favorite stores. If you're traveling through Elizabethtown, there's 2 locations, one on Dixie Avenue, and that's the liquor, and I think it's liquor and smokes or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And the other one is just the outlet, and you got to hit them both.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yep, for sure. All right, so the next day after we did our Hard Truth, or actually that night we had a bottle share with the people who came, our Patreons that
again, I saw that video.
Yeah, the Patreons that were part of the pick. We had a little bottle share after, and one of the Patreons, Tracy, thank you, Tracy, gave me a short barrel Founder's Reserve
I've seen
hazmat
those.
bottle.
That's
146 proof.
That's really cool.
I have not cracked that open yet, but I want to wait till I can do a review for it. But yeah, so thank you very much, Tracy. That was a nice little surprise.
Yeah.
And the next morning we went to Louisville, and I met up with a friend there. We went to see him first, and I had a bottle for him. So he gave me a couple of bottles while we were there. He gave me a Hard Truth caramel malt.
Oh, nice.
Which this is fantastic. And a New Riff sherry finish.
Oh, cool.
So I grabbed those from him. So that's from a buddy of mine and from Tracy, one of our Patreons.
Nice. That's awesome. Cool. All right, so that was basically my first day vacation. All of this.
That's a heck of a day one.
That's a day one.
Time to go home after that.
No. Wait. Day 2 gets better.
Oh, boy.
So
okay.
I woke up at 3 a.m. I went over to Heaven Hill to be there by 5 a.m.
Okay.
I was 11th in line.
At 3 a.m. you were 11th in line.
At 5 a.m.
At 5 a.m. you're 11th in line. Yeah, they started lining up early at Heaven Hill.
And I was able to get
the 19 year.
Heaven Hill 19 years.
That's the weeded, right?
That's the new weeded one. Everyone's raving about it. I can't wait to crack into this one.
Now, do you know how many they had that day?
28.
So you got there at 5 a.m. You were number 11. They only had 28. So yeah, if you're going to go to Heaven Hill, get there early.
Yeah,
you're going to be waiting for a while.
And they only are doing drops on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Yep, the only 3 days they hand out.
Otherwise, you'll be like Devin, and they'll tell you no
drops. The guy will come out and yell at you, nothing today.
All right. So I also picked up one more thing. I happen to have more for a collection or anything, but this is their basic Elijah Craig, but it's their PGA edition.
PGA bottle.
So it's got a little PGA logo on the top of the stopper as well. So I picked that up as well. That's it from Heaven Hill.
Okay. So we were in Louisville. We went and we started hitting shops. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we were doing. We were down there and we were going to hunt on our way back home. And we went by State Liquors, you know, and we did do a video on that. And
Yeah.
it's pretty nice there. And we managed to pick up a couple of these. Make sure I get the right ones. The 117 Extra Olds.
Nice.
So I got 2 of those.
Good.
We always grab the 117 series. We try to get them all.
But the extra rolls are really good.
Yeah,
it's a 1910, just
aged
extra
longer. Yeah,
right.
I haven't opened it yet, but I have high expectations because I
Mhm.
love 1910 so much.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason we had met up with my friend earlier who gave me those bottles is we had actually online, Old Forester had some bottles for sale in their shop, and we managed to get in
Okay.
and get them, but they don't deliver to Ohio. So we had them delivered to my friend's house. That's
That makes sense.
It's to stop
Mhm.
there. And we had got the Old Forester 117 bottled in bond rye.
Oh, nice.
So we got both of the 117 releases that have come out recently on that trip.
That's cool.
And while we were at State Liquors, I can never pass up an Old Forester Black Label when I find it near MSRP.
I
can't.
totally agree. I
So-
totally agree.
I got the State Liquors pick, and they let me try it at the
mhm.
store before I bought it. It's very good, but the Black Label, I haven't run across a bad one yet.
You may find another one from me later.
So I picked up that State Liquors Old Forester 100 pick, and I also grabbed, it's the first time I'd seen it in the wild, a Knob Creek cast strength single barrel. So
Yeah, right.
instead of the 120, this one's 126.
I know.
It's at barrel proof now,
I just cracked that open because you got one for me as well. So
Yeah.
that is really good.
and it is absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked those up at, these 2 delivered to my friend's
Right.
house. The rest we grabbed at State
State
Liquors.
Liquors.
So
Awesome. All right. So after I was done with Heaven Hill, I made a trek over because I was able to get an appointment to go to Buffalo Trace. Now, everyone knows Buffalo Trace is dealing with the aftermath of the flooding that happened in,
yeah, you had to have a
March.
appointment to
Yeah,
go
the
in.
appointment. Now, they're not doing tours and everything else, but when I was there, it was the first day the gift shop was reopened. So it was nice to get in there, look around and everything else. And while I was there, I was able to get the drop of the day, Eagle Rare.
Okay.
And they're also giving you the ability to get the 375 of the Weller Special Reserves.
Yeah,
the,
Weller
the,
Special Reserves.
the green, a small green.
Now these are actually the pocket flask with the
Mhm.
white label. These are the old ones.
Right, because there's a new logo design that matches the new bottles that are out there now.
Right. So this is the old one, and what we were there because we went this month in April.
Mm-hmm.
They told us that they're just putting these out till they're gone.
Yep.
So they're not making them anymore. So this
Which
is
is
like,
great.
right now, if you don't have the old label and you want to get one, you need to get there before they're all gone.
And then finally, for Patrick, because he likes root beer, we got ourselves Freddy's root beer.
There you go, Patrick.
So all for you. That's my stop over at Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
Put that out of the way.
So we came back home. That was like the last of the stuff we had grabbed in Louisville for ourselves. And then 2 weeks later, we headed back down because we were going to Jack Daniels for the Wayuter Hunt, Squire event.
Right, right.
Well, of course, you go back down, you're driving to Tennessee.
You got to stop.
You got to stop at Kentucky, right?
You got to stop.
So we stopped. The first place we stopped was at Shreks Liquors.
Okay.
And I got a video from our stop there. What stuff I went over.
I watched that. You told me to watch that.
Yeah, I told you needed to check that one out because I knew you were going to be going down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the first time I'd been back there in like a year, close to a year. But the last time I was there, they had some pretty good, they had some decent store picks and they had some pretty good prices on bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went in this time, they had some amazing prices on bottles. If you haven't seen it, you need to go check out that Shreks video.
Because amazing deals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable deals.
I got a down home toasted rye, and it was normally $99.99 was the price. They had it reduced down to $29.99.
So keep in mind, down home, that's the Whiskey Thief
Whiskey
company.
Thief. Yep, Whiskey Thief.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So this is batch 2. I also grabbed the Lux Row 4-grain double single barrel. Now, I actually like 4 grains. I don't like Lux Row much, but I like this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because the 4 grain, I like 4 grains.
Right, right.
But so this was also on sale for $29.99. They normally run around $70 to $75.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So another great deal on that. And I tried this with Patrick. I actually kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's lower proof and it's not bourbon, so it surprised me that I liked it. But I went ahead and grabbed a bottle of this Quiet Man because it was on sale for $14.99.
Well, that's worth a challenge.
Couldn't beat that price
for that
right?
price, right?
So these are the ones I kept for myself. I did also buy some others that I can use for like giveaways and stuff later, but these are the ones that were for me.
Cool. Well, actually my next stop was over at Shreks.
Okay.
So these two, I bought a couple of these for my friends and everything else. There was one other though that I did pick up that was just for me.
Okay.
And that happens to be Old Carter Batch 15.
Old Carters are good.
Got that at MSRP. Couldn't complain. It was, and I've already cracked it open. You can see I've had quite a few of it already, but it's a great bottle.
Yeah, those Old Carters are real good. Those are nice. All the ones I've had, I've liked. Okay, so after hitting Shreks, we started making our way back down towards Jack. You know, we gotta get down to Lynchburg. But we stopped at John O's on the way. We stopped at both locations.
Yeah.
We stopped at the main location on Dixie Avenue first, and we were looking around. I did a video again, another video. Of, I think you probably saw that when we went into that. But they told me, hey, we had some Weller Antique store pick.
Okay.
But we were selling them in bundles. They're gone.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, oh, well, I'm too late. They got them like the day before, and they were already sold out there. But they said, hey, if you go down to the outlet, they might have some left. So, after we were done at the main location, we went over to the outlet.
Yep.
And sure enough, they had one left.
Oh, very nice.
So I got the Weller Antique John O's store pick, and it was bundled with an Early Times bottled in bond.
Solid.
And I mean, the price was fantastic. It was like $105 together. So like this came out to like 70 and this came out to its regular price.
It's a great combination.
So that was a great bundle. We got that. It was very happy with that one. And then another bottle I just kind of put here in this spot. I didn't pick it up on that trip. We had actually got this a few days before we left for the trip here in Ohio.
Okay.
And this is like the only Ohio bottle I got this last month. It is the Penelope Family Estate 10-year single barrel.
Nice.
That was released here.
Cool. Very cool.
And you see, I popped that open. I popped that open. We were doing our Blue Note pick and showed it in a parking lot with all the people doing the pick. So, so that was the only Ohio bottle I got.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I also went to State Liquors, and there I was able to take advantage of some of the bundle deals. This is going to be a nice one. So, was able to find a Buckner's 15.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Now, I don't know whether or not this is the Buff Turkey one or if it's a Barton's, but I've heard both are equally well.
I'm not sure if there's a way to tell.
There is no way to tell. The only way I've heard is if it was an actual store pick, it's more likely to be the Buff Turkey.
Okay.
But it's what they had there as well. Oh, they also did have a store pick of the Buckner's 10-year.
Okay.
So I had that available.
So you are fully on the Buckner's train with the 10 and 15 year.
Well, I have the 13 as well as home.
Okay.
So that's what kind of hooked me into the whole line. On top of that, I was able to get, lo and behold, single barrel. That looks familiar.
Yeah, that's the same one I got, the State Liquor single. It's great pick.
And I was able to find an Obtanium. Okay, so this is the 28 years at 81%. So that's
162 proof. So I saw this when I was there, and I do love the Obtaniums.
Yeah.
And the reason I didn't buy it because I always look for the one in Stitzel Weller barrels.
I can't find that anywhere.
Yeah, and this one, like I asked him, I said, well, do you know what this was aged in? And he said he thinks it was aged in 4 roses. It didn't say it on the label, so I didn't buy it. But
we'll have to crack it
and find out what it tastes like.
And then finally, I happen to have it's a Stag 24C. That was all part of the bundle deal.
Very nice.
And I think that ends up everything at State Liquors, and have one more bonus.
Okay, I got. Well, you can go ahead and do that, and I'll go over what I got at Jack.
Okay, so the extra bonus that I have.
Move those outside.
This is running out of room here. So I started my whole trip playing another duck race. Okay?
Of course.
And
Paul plays a lot of those duck races.
I like duck races.
Yeah, he does a lot of the duck races.
So I got this but told them hold off to deliver it to me until after I got back and everything else. So I was able to get old Rip Van Winkle.
That's a nice win. You the old Rip 10-year?
Mm-hmm. No, it's
the 10-year.
10-year,
yeah, the 10-year
at 107 proof.
Yep.
Yeah,
those are pretty good. Bryant had brought one over and we opened it and tried it. It's good. It's definitely good. That's a nice win. Very nice. All right, so my last little set, we did make it down to Jack Daniel's. We were there for the Squire event.
Yeah.
We got there on Thursday night. We stayed, little ways away from the distillery, and then Friday morning we got up early to head down because we had to check in. Like when you go into these events, they go and you check in and they but they take your Squire number and they give you a pass and all kinds of stuff.
Good.
So we left early to get there kind of before, the bottle shop opens at 9. We said, well, we'll get there about 8:30 so we can check in at the Squire house and then we'll head over to the bottle shop. On the way there, we see on Facebook a notification that the bottle shop had opened early.
Oh.
And they dropped Jack Daniel's 10, 12, and 14.
The whole set.
The whole set.
Wow.
So we were like, okay, we got speed up a little bit. We got to get there as fast as we can because this isn't going to last.
Right.
There's hundreds of Squires in
Everyone's going to want them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Squires in town. So we got there a little after, probably about 8:40 or so. We arrived. We went straight to the bottle shop and they did have them. And I was like, well, we got to pick which one we want. I'm going to want the 14.
Sure.
Because it's the 14. Well, little did we know when we got up there, they said that each person could buy
the whole set?
One of each.
Wow. That's a deal.
So I got the 10, the 12, and the 14 this year's releases. And so did
Renee got it too?
My wife.
Oh, that's good.
So we have a set and a backup set of this year's Jack Daniel's 10, 12, and 14.
And I see you're enjoying the 14.
It is fantastic.
It is good. It is really good.
So we got those. Great surprise, great drop. It was a great time to be there. And, I got to think they did it because all these Squires were in town.
Yeah.
So it was like a special event.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a special drop. So we picked those up, and then later, after the event was over, later that night, we went to where our hotel was in Tullahoma, and there's always a few liquor stores we hit there just to see what they got. And lo and behold, we were looking behind the counter, and they had their little Jack 375s back there. We were checking them out, and one of them had a little gold tag on it. So I asked to see it.
Okay.
And it was a leftover of the Chris Fletcher picks.
Wow.
So in 2021, Chris Fletcher did some barrel picks where he did hand-selected barrels, and they bottled them in the 375. And these are some of the best Jack Daniel's barrel strengths I've ever had. I went through a couple of them. I got like one more over there, and they had one of these sitting on the shelf. The guy said they just found in the back, so they stuck it with the other ones. And so
that's amazing.
Yeah, that was a great little score. Get one of those from 2021.
Wow, that's really cool.
So that was our last bottle gets for the month.
I'd say
good way to end it.
This is pretty much of an epic month.
Yeah, this is a pretty big haul for each of us, especially together.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great bottles on this table. So, all right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed seeing what we got, and let us know what big finds you had in the month of April. So until next time, remember, the best bourbon or whiskey.
It's the one you like the most. Maybe one of these.
Very well could be. All right, we'll see you guys.
See ya.